What is up, guys? It's Justin, and if you guys have been following along with the channel lately, you know I've now tried DoorDash, UberEats, and GrubHub. So I felt like it was my duty to come on here and tell you guys which app I think is best. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video to find out which app I prefer. Tell me if you guys have a different experience. Maybe you totally agree, maybe you don't. Let's make this controversial. Either way, the only thing that I ask is that you would please just like this video. It really helps out the channel a ton. And if you like the content you're seeing, don't forget to subscribe as well. We are quickly on our way to 300 subscribers, which means we're quickly on our way to 1 million subscribers. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Leave a comment to let me know how you like this content. And with that, let's dive right into it. So I want to be very clear with you guys. The things I'm going to be rating these apps on are their functionality, their in-app mapping systems, and their side hustle potential. And I'll explain what that means when we get there. The things I'm not going to be rating it on are order quantity and order quality, and here's why. What I've found is that in different markets, different apps are going to reign supreme. In my market, it's DoorDash. DoorDash has the most orders, it has the most customers in this area, and because of that, by picking and choosing orders, I generally get the best orders. Now, that doesn't mean that UberEats and GrubHub are terrible apps by any means. It just means that for me, in my specific area, DoorDash is best. It may be the complete opposite for you. If GrubHub is the popular food delivery app where you live, then it's probably going to be the best app as far as order quantity and order quality. Let's be honest, when you can pick and choose between 100 different orders, you're going to end up with the best orders as opposed to sitting and waiting and accepting pretty much anything that comes around. So I'm not talking about order quantity, I'm not talking about order quality, I'm talking about the apps themselves, because as a first-time user, I had completely different experiences trying to navigate the apps, figure out how to do the deliveries, walking through that process, and I think you guys deserve to know how difficult each app is to use. So like I said, the first thing we're going to talk about is functionality, and the apps are very different in this regard. On DoorDash, it's pretty straightforward. When you open up the app, you're going to see pretty much everything you need to know down at the bottom. It has tabs for scheduling, it has tabs to see your earnings, it has all of that information right there. It's really easy. There's not a lot to explain on the app because honestly, they do a pretty good job. And I know that might be controversial. Some people hate the DoorDash app, but I can't really figure out why, because personally, I have an amazing time with it and I find it incredibly simple to use. Now, as far as deliveries go, I think it gets even easier. They walk you through literally every single step. When you accept a delivery, it prompts you to go to the restaurant. It walks you through exactly what that process looks like with the mapping. When you get to the restaurant, you say that you've arrived. It very clearly lists out every single food item that you need to pick up. It makes it incredibly obvious to where you should never ever walk away with the wrong order. And once you're actually done at the restaurant, it is incredibly easy to figure out what to do from there, because it once again shows you exactly what to do. It says, all right, we're going to open up the maps again, take you to the customer's house. Here's the instructions on what to do when you get there. Either drop it off or hand it to the customer. Click done, done. Easy as that. I find the DoorDash app incredibly easy to use when actually walking through the deliveries, and I think that's just because it was designed specifically for this, delivering food. Now, what wasn't specifically designed for ordering food was the Uber app. It is not the greatest as far as deliveries go. So when you open up the app, yes, it's still pretty obvious. You can open it up, you can see your earnings, you can see all the things that you would typically need to know as a driver, but there are a couple extra steps. The first thing you have to do is toggle on food delivery and toggle off people delivery, I suppose. It's really not that hard, but you need to make sure you do that, because if you don't, then you could accidentally accept an order and find out you're not picking up a bag of food, you're picking up a person, and maybe that's for you, maybe it's not, but you're going to make sure you do that. And then as far as the actual delivery process goes, I will say that the UberEats app is a little bit tougher. It kind of lumps everything together into before you pick up the food and after you pick up the food, and it's not really much more information than that. You have to kind of open up tabs to make sure that you're seeing all of the food that should be there, make sure you didn't have any drinks you need to pick up. So you kind of have to go digging for the information yourself a little bit more in this app. It's still not a bad app by any means. It's just not as clear, all of the instructions. And again, I've said this before, food delivery is not rocket science. This is an incredibly simple job. Very rarely do you get put in a spot where you're confused or anything like that, but simplicity always helps, and DoorDash definitely has UberEats beat here. it also has GrubHub as well. If you guys watched my GrubHub video, you saw that I really didn't get to do a lot of orders. I got literally one order and it got canceled almost immediately. But from what I could tell and the research that I've done, GrubHub is pretty on par here with UberEats as far as not really explaining everything. You have to go digging a little bit more to make sure that you're not missing any steps. Again, it's not the most crazy difficult thing in the world, but if you're used to the simplicity of DoorDash, you might find these two apps a little bit more confusing. And that leads me into the second point, which is the in-app mapping system. I guess this is kind of a part of the functionality, but at the same time, it is a little bit different, so I wanted to cover that. DoorDash and UberEats both have an in-app mapping system. They're both pretty simple to use. You literally just open up the maps and that's it. It's gonna start taking you to the restaurant, or it's gonna start taking you to the drop-off spot. And once you get there, you do what you need to do. Pretty simple. I will say though, you're gonna want to be driving in an area that you're familiar with, because in both the DoorDash and Uber Eats mapping systems, it has tried to take me ways that are pretty out of the way multiple times. I can't really explain why it's done that. I've tried to figure that out. But if you're not familiar with your area and you're just listening to the mapping systems on DoorDash or Uber Eats, you may end up taking a less direct route. There was even one time on Uber Eats where it wanted me to take a 14-mile route to do a 3-mile delivery. I'm not even joking. It wanted me to go all the way out of the way. And when I saw that, I thought, you know what? Maybe there's like a horrible car accident along this road. No. I drove straight up it, dropped off the food, saved myself a ton of time from not listening to the app. So just be aware of that. Just be using some common sense. If you see something that looks a little bit fishy in the mapping systems, you might want to double check, open up your phone's maps, check those. That'll definitely help you out. Now, GrubHub doesn't actually offer an in-app mapping system from what I can tell. You kind of just have to use the app that is on your phone. And at first I was gonna knock them for this, but really it's not that difficult to just open up the phone app and switch between the two. And I found that to be the more reliable mapping system. Like I just said, I've found some discrepancies, I guess you could say, between the two, and the phone systems typically seem to work better. So really can't fault GrubHub for this one. Just go ahead, use your phone app, and it'll get you to where you need to go, no problem. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about, like I said, was side hustle potential. And what I really mean by this is, can you do this consistently to make money? And that's going to depend again on your market. What is the order quantity? What is the order quality? Which app is most popular? But there is an important thing to note when you're talking about these three apps, and it is the ability to be out and about when you want. A big part of a side hustle, for me at least, is flexibility. And I appreciate being able to earn money when I want, and being able to take a break for any extended period of time and not do it when I don't need to be out earning money. And this is where DoorDash actually gets knocked for me, because if you're not in the top Dasher program, you have to schedule yourself to dash. You can't just go out and dash whenever you want. You have to actually pick a blocked out schedule, and they're not the best. I've seen multiple that are just an hour and a half or 2 hours. I've heard some people even talking about just half-hour schedules, and I'm telling you right now, it is not worth it to drive to a location and turn on your app just to drive around for a half hour. You're gonna get 1, maybe 2 orders complete, and there's no way that's gonna be worth your time, even to just spend the gas to get to that part of town. For me personally, I found that if you schedule 4, 5, 6 days out, you can typically get a pretty good block, sometimes 10 or 12-hour blocks that you can choose from. But it's not always the case, and especially on those busy days or busy times, it can be really, really hard to get dinner blocks. It can be really hard to get Saturday blocks, and because of that, you become kind of limited in when you can DoorDash, and that can be tough. Now, on the flip side of that, Uber Eats, you can go out anytime you want. Drive in the morning, drive at night. They don't care. From what I can tell, there's no limitation on when or how much you can drive on Uber Eats. And because of that, I think they're a really, really great option as far as side hustle potential goes. I mean, if you can be out driving whenever you want, sure. There are obviously times you want to target. Okay, go and drive during dinner. Go and drive on the weekends. There's nothing holding you back there, and that just makes it that much more simple, because you don't even have to think about scheduling. You literally just turn the app on and go. Now, GrubHub falls somewhere in between the two, because yes, you have to schedule out blocks, but from what I could tell, there was a ton of blocks available in my area, and that might change market to market, but for me personally, when I was looking even a day or 2 out, I could pretty much drive whenever I wanted to. It was not a limitation at all. all, I was pretty confident that if I wanted to make an all-day GrubHub video, go out on a Saturday, I could definitely do that, no problem. So those are the 3 apps, and where does that leave us? Again, this is totally subjective. This is just my opinion, but even with the scheduling conflicts at times, I do think that the DoorDash app is the most enjoyable to use. It really honestly has just perfected the food delivery process for me personally. And again, you might get on there and absolutely hate the interface, hate the design, hate the way things are laid out, and prefer Uber Eats over it 100%. That's okay. This is just my opinion, especially as a new person in the food delivery market. I think it's the easiest to use, and if you're thinking about getting into the side hustle, it's the one that I would most definitely recommend starting with. And then, you know what? If you don't like it, you can branch out into the other ones. It's no problem at all. So I hope you guys got something from this video. I hope you found some good information. Again, if you did, all I ask is that you please like this video. It helps it out a ton. And if you want to see more side hustle content, I'm doing videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, trying to make the best possible videos for you guys. So if you want to see more of that content, go ahead, just subscribe to the channel. I don't know why you haven't done it already. Other than that, I'll stop bothering you guys. I hope you have an amazing weekend, an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.